took a massive second hit of DMT. I thought that it can only get better from here, and if I'm lucky and smoke just the right amount of DMT, I might get back to the alien spaceship from the previous video. I would definitely ask those DMT entities a question or two now that we were officially introduced, but as it always happens, I landed in a completely different dimension and I was looking at something quite puzzling. Just for the record, I never managed to smoke DMT twice in a row and get to the same place. It just doesn't work like a Stargate, or maybe we just don't know how to get it to work like one. I would hope some 3-letter agency is already neck deep into researching this, but unfortunately it seems that the everyday taxpayer will have to do the heavy lifting on that one. I find it very interesting that a lot of scientific breakthroughs that lead to real-world discoveries were achieved in some altered state of mind, and now we're trying to apply everyday sober logic to a completely alien and unintuitive experience such as DMT. Well, at least I am. I bet some secret researcher is watching this from a bunker somewhere, laughing his ass off. Anyways, as the spirit molecule reached my brain, I found myself in a dark room with a glowing pile of bones in one corner. The bones were made of newspaper cutouts, like a do-it-yourself project. Just glued chunks of newspaper formed into the shape of bones. You can't make this stuff up. Weird, I thought. I was expecting something more flashy, but I really should have learned by now not to have expectations about the trip. You get what you need, people say. All of a sudden, the pile of paper bones starts to slowly move and glow in a bright purple color. The pieces rearrange themselves into the shape of a pterodactyl. You know, the prehistoric flying dinosaur that went extinct millions of years ago. It slowly formed the complete skeleton of the animal, and it was just staring at me. It was animated by this glowing energy around it. Obviously, it was put in motion by some other force. And as I was now face to face with this DMT entity, I asked myself the usual question: why am I seeing this? At this moment, I got a telepathic message. And for those of you that are not familiar with the psychedelic experience, this might sound a bit crazy, but DMT is like this. Very often, during your trip, you find yourself in the possession of some piece of extraordinary information that you didn't read or hear anywhere. You don't arrive logically at some profound conclusion during your DMT trip. It just appears in your consciousness, seemingly from nowhere. And through this process of information simply arising in my awareness, DMT was telling me that these bodies we have are mere objects which are animated by the soul. I use the word soul for a lack of a better term. We are sort of puppets being driven around this 3-dimensional space. We are absolutely clueless about the processes happening in our own bodies, and yet we identify with them 100% of the time. Just imagine the billions of cells just in your fingertips that are happily going about their business 24/7 and are being driven by some unknown force. You have no knowledge whatsoever of how you are able to move your legs or hands, or how you navigate this 3-dimensional landscape. It just happens. You're only consciously aware of the result. And it was this process that was now being revealed in my DMT trip. But this brings up the obvious question: if you are not the one making things happen, then how do you participate in all this? The answer is that you're pure awareness. This is the truth that is at the bottom of all the different types of meditation practices. We're in this state all the time, but DMT really brings this sensation to the foreground of experience. It becomes perfectly clear that you're just an observer once the cosmic madness reveals itself in front of you. As I understood what this glowing pterodactyl was getting at, I just completely relaxed and let go into the DMT trip. I wasn't concerned what I am, where is my body in space, and what I'm looking at. I just let the whole experience flow through me without judgment. The trip slowly morphed into gentle flower-like fractals that were zooming past my point of view, and I was still pure awareness without a sign of my body. I wasn't experiencing my three-dimensional body for a very long time. And that's how I got the understanding that awareness is this primal point of existence, and all interactions with the physical world are just an add-on. And things really get crazy in the next video when I did DMT 4 times in one day. It was an amazing experience, and you can click here to see it.